Haven's requirement. So let me introduce myself. My work and research is focused on decision making, but what I'm sort of angled on or zoomed in on is an aspect of relationship which is crucial. It is how emotions play its role in decision making, particularly how fear play its role in decision making. So that's my focus. Then how this particular emotion plays its role in decision making and how it impacts our entrepreneurial and professional performance. Okay, so it's the angle I'm looking at it, and I create all my products and services based on that. My sessions are not about diagnosing or treating mental health conditions because I'm not a psychotherapist. I'm a decision scientist, and this is what I do. I just want to clarify that. Okay. Today's session would be an aspect of decision making, where I will be taking you through one scenario of defensive decision making as to how fear make you go defensive, and I will explain that in one particular context, which is the context of perfectionism. Okay, as to how fear, you might think that you are doing a good job, but actually fear will kind of mislead you in a different direction. Okay, and this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to share the screen. Okay, so the topic is why your safest decisions are the most expensive one. Okay, now all my work is based on a framework that I developed through my research and also through life experience, because I have been running businesses primarily. So although I have a PhD, but I never joined the academia. I taught there, but it wasn't for me. So I came back to the business world and I run my own teaching company, which is different than what I'm teaching here. This is the offshoot or the second company that I'm trying to establish. But the original teaching company that I've been running for the last 10, 15 years is based on education, standard education to school children in the United Kingdom. So I've gone through the practical side of things as well. So I tested my theory, which I developed during my research, into the practical realities of the world. And this is the framework of that, that decision making paradigm that I have developed, is that structure create uncertainty. So structure could be anything that is beyond your control, and I'll explain it a little bit more, but right now I just want to take you through just a simple definition of things. So structure create uncertainty. Uncertainty uncertainty creates fear in the decision maker. Now, what happens is that when we are under the influence of fear, not always, but most of the time, we tend to make defensive decisions. And those defensive decisions leads to short-term strategies or short-termism. Okay? And what happens is that whatever you were trying to prevent happens because of that short-term decisions. So if you are running a business and you're trying to prevent something from happen, and if you are operating under fear, not always, but most of the time, it will have paradoxical outcomes. That's my emphasis. That's what I do. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is the way this session is structured is that I will share with you my knowledge first. Okay. And after that, we'll have a question answer sessions where you'll come forward and you'll ask me questions, or I'll encourage you to come forward and share your knowledge with us because you are professionals, you have experience. So through that interaction, hopefully today we will leave with better decision making capabilities. Okay. So what is decision making? This is important. We need to understand this. And this is the technical definition. And I wanted this particular definition because it applies to the context which I'm talking about today. Decisions are often based on prediction about possible better outcomes. Possible better outcomes. Number one, keep this in mind, okay? That we as humans, when we look forward to the future, we want better outcomes. With that, we want a preference for certainty. Our brains don't like uncertainty. And I will explain this in a minute. The brains don't like uncertainty. So we have a preference for better outcomes. And at the same time, we love certainty. Okay, keep these two things in mind as we move forward. Right. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the past. I'm going to go back to our evolutionary past and I'll try to explain where decision making came from, sorry. Why we make decisions in the first place. This is very, very important. Okay. So, for you to understand decision making, because decisions are made in the brain, by the brain, so you need to understand the mechanics of this instrument as to why it does certain things. So for that, you need to understand the function of your brain. What is this thing doing in your skull? What it is for? What is the purpose of this thing in your head? Understand you have a brain which is fixated on two things, according to evolutionary biology: survival and passing on the genes. That's it. This is all the brain cares for. This is all what it is focused on 24/7. Wants to make sure that you survive. That's all. Okay. Now, in order to fulfill these objectives, through evolutionary process, your brain evolved certain functions which enables the fulfillment of these two objectives. So imagine there is a box, there's a stand, there's a platform, and on the platform are standing these two paramount objectives: survival and passing on the genes, right? So the platform, inside the platform are all the functions that make these two possible. So those functions, I'll give you a few examples. They are your motivations, your desire, your instincts, anything that moves you towards something lives in that box. Okay. And the fulfillment of those instincts, those objectives, those motivations result in the ultimate objective. And the unsuccessfulness of those objectives and motivations result in not fulfilling those objectives. So this is serious business for the brain. This is serious business for the brain. Your motivations, your instincts, your desires, those things that are guiding the hidden forces in you that is making you move towards something. So your brain evolved another layer. Now, this is serious business now. So what your brain is doing is trying to make sure that the process is more efficient. It's not taking chances. So another system is created, or it evolved, which keeps an eye on the fulfillment or not fulfillment of these objectives. It keeps an eye on constantly. So every time the brain detects that things are heading in the right direction for those objectives, it will engage positive emotions. Every time there are hindrances to those objectives and motivations, the brain will engage negative emotions. So to summarize it, if there are threats to these two objectives, your brain will engage negative emotions. If there are opportunities or things are heading in the right direction, everything is hunky-dory good, then the brain will engage positive emotions. Through this interaction of positive and negative emotions, your brain is steering you in the direction it wants you to go. Do it, do it, do it. Stop, back off, back off. You're not heading in the right direction. That's the interaction that goes on between us and the brain, because the brain wants us to be in the direction where it wants us to go, where it thinks that these two objectives will be fulfilled. So One mechanism to fulfill these objectives, one of the mechanisms, is decision making. But what decisions am I making? I'm only making two decisions. Is this a threat or is this opportunity? I'm going to avoid this and I'm going to go for it. That's all. That's all. Go for it. Stop. Don't do it. Okay. That's how it goes, the decision making. That's how the evolution of decision making happens. That we are making decisions about things that are good for our survivals, and we are avoiding things that are bad for our survival. So this is the essence of decision making. That's it. Your brain only cares about two decisions: opportunity and a threat. But it gets more complicated. It gets more complicated. So now I'm going to add in a bit of complexity. I'm going to make it more complex as we talk about this phenomenon. Uncertainty. Okay, so what happens is that we are evolving in an environment which is very dangerous, which is very, very dangerous. And the brain is constantly fixated on looking over the horizons for threat and opportunity. So I'm fine during the daytime. I'm fine during the daytime because I can see all the threats and all the opportunities. My decision making is fine, right? I can see a lion over there. I can see a tree with fruit hanging over there. Fine. It's daytime. But what happens during the night? The night scares me because I can't see too far now. I can't see anything. I can't see anything. And that's scary. I don't know the opportunities. I don't know the threats. So, according to some scientists, your mind evolved to deal with the night, to see through the night. The mind. The mind project things. The mind project positive things. The mind project negative things. It is trying to look into the future. It is trying to look into the darkness because your brain hates uncertainty. Uncertainty is dangerous for survival. So your brain is constantly trying to evolve things. So your mind evolved for this particular purpose. You plan things ahead. You look into the future. You project. And that's what you do, you're professional all the time, right? That's what planning is all about, the future. There are more complexities attached to it because time only moves forward. So I cannot undo a decision. I cannot undo a decision. It only moves forward. I made the decision, boom. It was a threat or it was opportunity, and that's it. That's it. So what happens is that because time is moving forward, the cost of decision making is high. The cost of decision making is high. That's an added pressure on me. So now there is uncertainty, and now I cannot reverse my decision. That's a lot of pressure. But wait, I'm going to add more pressure on your decision making in a minute. But just keep this in mind. I just wanted you to understand this whole evolutionary background of it, because once you understand, the phenomenon inside you, then it's easy to control that phenomenon, and then it becomes even easier to guide your direction, so your decision making in the right direction. There are things which are your weaknesses or faults, or it's something that is beyond your control, and then there are things which are inbuilt. We need to understand all the influences on our decision making to make optimal decisions. Right. So uncertainty is a riddle now. Okay, we want to see ahead. We want to see in the darkness. We want to see the other side. So we created a mind for it, but now we are faced with another problem. And the other problem is that time move forward. I cannot undo my decision. That's my dilemma, right? Wait, I'm going to add a little bit of something else. Fear. Fear. Your mind, your brain is fixated on your survival. One of the earliest mechanisms it evolved to protect you was fear. Fear is good. Fear protects you. It is because of fear that me and you are talking today. We as a species survive thanks to fear. But when it's optimal, right here, thing goes wrong when it crosses the boundary and turn into out of control or becomes suboptimal. So fear evolved as a mechanism to protect us. Because that, as a matter of fact, that's the oldest emotion, or that's the oldest phenomenon that the brain evolved. So what happens now is you've got a dangerous cocktail. Poor humans. We have a dangerous cocktail. Look at the brain. Poor brain. Uncertainty. Time is moving forward. And I have circuitry which is trying to prevent me. How I'm going to make decisions? Difficult, right? Tough. Look at this. This is the circuitry which is involved in risk and uncertainty. Okay, so don't get. I mean, this is not a session in neuroscience. Neither am I a neuroscientist. I'm a decision scientist, but I consult anything, any discipline that can help me. So I consult a lot of neuroscience, particularly when it comes to fear and decision making. So now, look at this. Pay special attention to the front side of your brain, the bluish region, purple region, the orange region. This is the prefrontal cortex. This is behind your forehead. Just keep this in mind. This is the area which is responsible for control and deliberation and planning and conflict monitor, uncertainty detection, error detection, emotional decision making, reward, punishment, evaluation, changing outcome, anything you can think of, anything that we are proud of, anything that makes us human, anything that makes us smart and intelligent. Now, we're going to go back as we go back into the brain, you see, particularly focus on this red region with that yellow tip. That red region is the amygdala. Everybody knows amygdala by now. There's so many YouTube videos out there. This is the region which is responsible for survival related functions and emotions. Remember this. Fear is one of them. So fear lives in amygdala. Fear is activated by amygdala. Stress is activated by amygdala. This is your intelligence agency. This is your CIA and MI5 or whatever that is, MI4, whatever that is. It is constantly looking out for danger. It is constantly looking out for, it's just constantly scanning the horizon. Remember, survival is serious business for the brain. It is serious business for the brain. So survival is taken very, very seriously. All the components are engaged in this business. But this particular one is the overworked professional. It is constantly looking at dangers around you. Then above it, there is a region called insula. And insula is a part of the brain which is engaged in uncertainty. So Then obviously there is hippocampus, which is the center of your memory. So how does that interaction works? You might be thinking, well, you're showing us these diagrams and complicated stuff. I'm going to simplify it to you. Remember insula. Insula is that individual in your social circle who is always very anxious, or that character in the movie which is very, very anxious. Okay, so it is always and it acts out this way. Do you think everything is going to be all right? Do you think everything is going to be all right? I think this is going to go wrong. That's how it acts. This is the job of insula. This is how it's supposed to act, by the way. So when there is uncertainty, this is how insula acts. And it knocks the door. It wakes up or starts shaking the amygdala. Do you think everything is going to be all right? I detect danger. And this is where your insula is scanning the horizon, but now it thinks something is wrong because that anxious character is shaking it. Do something, do something. So that's where your fear, it was here, now it goes there. The temperature is raised. So what the amygdala does is it starts sending signals downward to the middle portion of the brain, or to the primitive portion of the brain that control the automatic functions inside your body. Hey, there's danger. Come on, come on, come on, do something, do something, do. So now your heartbeat is fast. Okay, your muscles are tight, your digestion stops, you're breathing heavy and fast. Your body is getting ready for war, for a challenge, for a threat. Activated by uncertainty through amygdala. And uncertainty is not the only, um, you know, agent that activate fear, by the way. Okay. Memories can also do that. Okay. But here, because today we're talking about uncertainty, so I'm going to focus on uncertainty. So what happens now is your body is all primed up for war because there is danger. But remember, I talked about a different area of the brain, which is behind your forehead, the prefrontal cortex. This area evolved specifically, initially, for one thing, inform the emotions, drill some sense into the emotion, be the slave of emotions, beg them to do the right thing, inform them to do the right. Remember, your decisions are always made by your emotions. Keep this in mind. Your decisions are always made by emotions. Okay, that's how the brain makes decisions. So now this prefrontal cortex, although we think, oh, we're rational, we make rational, it informs the emotions. It gives information to the emotions. It tries to persuade the emotions that, look, things going to be all right. The thing that is curled on the ground, which looks like a snake, is actually not a snake. It's a piece of stick. So please, 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 please calm down. And if amygdala listens, then it will deactivate all the automatic functions, and boom, your fear will be back to optimal again. That's how it goes mechanically. It's easier said than done, though. That's another story, but that's how it's done. That's how the interaction of your brain parts happens. And through that interactions, either you're going to do something stupid or you're going to do something good. Either you're going to spend all day shivering, thinking that that stick, curled up stick on the ground is a snake, or you're going to say, you know what? It's not a snake. That's it. I'm not scared anymore, right? So just understand the mechanism behind it. Now I want you to understand one more thing before I move on to the practical example. One more thing. Okay, this is important for you to understand from a theoretical perspective. We humans do not have unlimited cognitive capacity. The brain gets tired. We all know this, right? Because we don't have a lot of cognitive capacity, so your brain evolved a brilliant function. Shortcuts. Shortcuts. They're called heuristics. Okay, let me give you an example. A grandpa is walking in savannah, and grandpa saw something walking on four legs right there somewhere 400 yards away in horizon. Whoops, grandpa took cover. Grandpa immediately took cover behind the tree. Now, grandpa does not know that if that is a lion or if that's an antelope. Is it a threat or is it an opportunity? Grandpa don't know yet, but grandpa took cover. That's a heuristic. That's a shortcut. I'll rather be safe than dead. Negativity bias. I'll rather be safe than dead. It saved his life. Now he can peek, peep out and look at, oh my God. Oh, that's actually food. That's a gazelle. So now he's coming out and he's going to walk toward it. But it saved his life. It could have been a lion, right? It could have been any predator. So in that environment, philosophers didn't survive very long. That is the environment where you make split second decisions because life is dangerous. So you take cover immediately and it saves your life. This is called heuristics. But understand, we are not living in savannah anymore. So this threat perceptions that we have is translated into me not standing up in front of other peoples to give a talk in a professional context. That's called a bias. When there's a mismatch between a heuristic and the environment, a bias results. So now I have a fear response, which was designed to be afraid of a lion or a hyena or something. But now I'm afraid of speaking up in front of people. That's called a bias. Just keep this in mind, right? Because this is a problem. This is a problem. Your brain works on heuristics. It makes decisions on heuristics. And when you make decisions, you don't think you are, but you're being influenced by these heuristics and biases. There are two types of fears, and I'm going to explain this in a minute. One is a hot fear, and one is a cold fear. A hot fear is I have a lion right in front of me. Okay, my business, I woke up and something happens in the economy. Either there was a terrorist incident, or there was a war, or something happened. So now, the manager just told me you're fired. So these are, or the manager just told me finish this project in 5 hours. That's hot fear now. That's the stress. That's the anxiety that people can see on your faces. But the dangerous one is the cold fear. You don't feel it. You don't you sense it, but you don't feel it. Your heartbeat is normal. You are hanging out with your friends. You're watching a movie. You're playing with your kids. But there's this thought lingering in your brain about an issue. And that cold fear is where biases can happen a lot. And it'll misguide your decision making. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you through the process. Whatever I've shared so far, I'm going to put that into practice in a day-to-day example, a workplace example, which is perfectionism. But before I do that, I just want to make sure that you understood what I've said so far. Any question related to what I've said so far? That understanding was important. Okay, now you understand how you have this basic understanding, although it's more complicated, but you have this basic understanding how your brain makes decisions. So I'm going to take you through a decision now, one of the professional scenarios, and we're going to sort of go through this whole exercise of how all these ancient mechanisms are going to play games while we are making those decisions. Any questions? If everybody's happy, thumbs up, please. Yes, Claire?
Excuse me, I have a question. I'm not sure I understood why structure creates uncertainty. I would say the contrary if you would ask me.
Okay. We can, after question answer sessions, you might have a point. Good. Yeah. Um, right. So are we happy? Matthew, you have a question related to what I've
Yeah.
said so far.
Yeah. So the heuristics can cause out biases um, if it comes from cold fears or that sort of thing. How,
Yeah. And that's more dangerous because you're not aware of it. You are aware of your stress, but you're not aware of fear playing games in the background. Okay,
how,
and that makes you make decisions, right?
right.
No problems. Right, let's get going now, everybody. If you're happy and no questions coming, Claire, keep your question. Okay, we're going to go through a question answer session because some of the people are here only for this 1 hour, and I'll rather let them go if they want to go because they got things to do, and then we can spend another hour going through questions and answers. Right. So okay, let's go back to the structure. The my paradigm of decision making, defensive decision making. This is called my paradigm is called defensive decisions paradox. How defensive decisions can result in negative outcomes or the thing you feared happens basically. So let's talk about structure. Structure, the professional terminology in the business world for that is VUCA, which is volatility, uncertainty, chaos, and ambiguity. So, as a business, we operate in an environment which is volatile, uncertain, chaotic, and ambiguous, right? The economy, the environment, the culture, the laws, the geopolitics, the competitors particularly, right? So because we are not certain, we are operating in the darkness. This creates fear. Okay, in the professional context, sorry, people operate in a company. Although it looks like there is structure and everything is organized, but still, that very structure, if it is unhealthy, can create a lot of uncertainties um, in the employees, and there is a discipline dedicated to deal with that, which is called psychological safety. Okay, their job is to make sure that people in teams feel safe. Okay, but structure is something which is some beyond your control. Okay, it could be anything. Um, I'm just giving an example of professional and business context because this is what I'm talking about. But you can, anything that is beyond your control is your structure, basically. Anything that is creating fear and you have no control over it is your structure. Okay. So what happens is that when the structure, insert yours, creates uncertainty, then as I told you, the mechanism of insula putting pressure on the amygdala, and now fear is activated. Okay. And chances are, most of the time, it'll give you a negativity bias because we as human beings, we are more concerned with losses than gains, according to scientists. And this is not just a theory. This scientist won Nobel Prize in economics for this particular aspect, loss aversion, that humans are loss averse. Okay, we care more about losses than we care about gains. Okay, and this is because of the negativity bias, and this is because of fear, and this is because of uncertainty. Okay, so when that happens, then you will start making negative decisions. decision aversion. Now, it will influence your decision making. There'll be fear will lead to decision aversion. And there are different types of decision aversions, right? There is a preference for no change, status quo bias. Okay. So now you might be thinking you are prudent. Now, this is cold fear, right? This is not hot fear. This is cold fear. You might be thinking you're prudent, you're smart, you're intelligent, but actually it's status quo bias that is playing games. And behind that is fear. And behind that is uncertainty. Okay. No action, omission bias. Be safe than dead. Skipping an opportunity due to fear of regret. Now, this is important because now regret is a very painful emotion. So now you are avoiding the future pain. The future pain. Okay? So this is how your decision will be influenced. Sometimes you'll be consciously aware of it. Most of the time, you won't be. Okay? But this will happen. So what happened is that you have a situation, a choice feel uncertain and risky. This creates fear response. It influences your judgment, status quo bias and omission bias, decision aversion, and then you have a behavior. Delay, do nothing, or let someone else decide for you. What decision aversion look like? Postpone the decision, choose the default, do nothing, omit action. Okay? Let's go through a scenario. Perfectionism. When the outcome of finishing something is uncertain, it can trigger fear and avoidance. The fear underneath perfectionism almost never feels like fear. It feels like diligence, and that's dangerous. This often results in delayed products, delayed hiring, delayed proposals, and delayed decisions. And it goes on and on and on. Delay, 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 delay. Okay, so have a piece of paper and pen ready. Let's go through this exercise, please. And I want your active participation in this, please. And once you go through this, you will be able to spot your defensiveness in your future decisions. Okay? So there's a recommendation you've been preparing, anything, you choose. It's been 3 weeks. Every time you sit down to finalize it, you find something to refine. The framing, the data, a counter argument you haven't fully addressed, whatever. Choose yours. Okay. But basically, in a nutshell, you have something to do, but you're delaying it, and you think, well, I can do a little, I can if I do this, I can, goes on and on and on. It feels like diligence. It feels like diligence. This is important. You tell your team soon, I just want to get it right. It'll be the best piece you've ever seen. That's what you tell them. So what's happening here? There's a quiet fear. You didn't feel afraid. You felt diligent. See, you didn't. You feel like there is no fear. No, I'm smart. I am in control. You felt through. You feel like a person doing. You felt like a person doing their job carefully. That's exactly the problem. So 3 questions I want you to answer. In that process, what questions were you answering? What were you protecting? It could be something psychological or something physical. It could be your status or it could be money or, you name it. Were you comparing the costs honestly? While you are doing it, are you aware what it's costing you or the company or the whatever the agency that you are preparing it for? Okay, please. I'll give you a few minutes, and you either think about it or write it down because we're going to be talking about it. Please go ahead. Whoever is ready, please let me know. Um, is someone ready? Do you want to come forward and say something? Have you gone through these questions? Just turn on your microphone and come forward, please. Anyone, do you want to come forward? Or is it too difficult? Can you let me know, please? Why is there hesitation? Should so what should we do if you are not coming forward? Maybe you find it difficult. Should I go through it myself? Okay. 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 Yeah.
Um,
Good. Please,
yeah, I
can you
want
come
to go
forward?
try to go through it maybe.
Yeah, yeah, please. Yeah. Whoever, it's just an exercise. I mean, we're not here to test each other or to, you know, expose each other. It's just an exercise, right? So who wants to do it? Rack or who was this? Um, yes, whoever was it. Please come forward.
So you are basically having three questions. Yeah. The first one being, what question are you trying to answer when you are delaying the decision making, for
Yeah,
example, or the recommendation? Eh?
yeah,
Uh, I think that's like, okay, what if I research more this aspect or that aspect of it? So I come to a more safe decision, right?
yeah, yeah,
Um, what were you protecting? Yeah, you're protecting kind of like, I guess in your mind, you are protecting the downfall, right? You maybe think about the doom scenario
yeah,
and you're trying to make a well weighed off decision,
yeah,
so you're not going south. Basically you weigh off the time to take in order to make a better decision. I thought for myself, if I think about it, the cost that I'm thinking about is that you don't get any results while you are waiting. The other people can be annoyed and you lose other opportunities, uh,
That's it.
while you're waiting.
That's it. Simple as that. What questions were you answering? What were you trying to do? What question goes in your mind that, what is this being delayed for, right? And the second question is, what are you trying to protect here? And you need to be honest. Am I protecting my status? Am I protecting my self-esteem? Am I protecting a few dollars here? Or what is it? You need to specify it. But the third question is very, very important. What is the negative outcome of this delay? Have you factored that in? Every single day, it could be a decision about your own personal life. Okay. And every single day that you're delaying it, what is the cost of it? Have you factored that in your strive for perfection? So, It's like someone who is preparing for, it's like a sports person who is trying to prepare themselves for a competition. And they're saying, I will only enter competitions when I'm perfect. When, to give you a golf analogy, because I play golf, when my chipping is perfect, when my pitching is, when my swing is, when I can hit 500 yards short, then I'm going to go competition. That's not how life works. That's not how life works. Okay. You throw yourself into competition and you find out your weaknesses. That's how life works, right? So perfect. There's someone else who wants to share their ideas, but that was wonderful. Thank you very much for that. And that's exactly what it is, basically, what you went through. And it's a simple exercise, nothing complicated, right? Would it be possible to show the map two slides up for a few seconds? Rack, which one is that? Which one are you talking about? The two slides up. This one, the spot defensive decision, the question that I was asking. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're after? Like map with arrows. Oh, this one. Oh, this one. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Don't worry, I'll send it to you. Don't worry. I'll send it to you by email. Okay. Um, Now what we're going to do is go through a few steps, just in the context of perfectionism, so you don't fall into this trap. So perfectionism can be influenced by fear. There is healthy perfectionism, but you need to spot the signs as to which one is being driven by fear and uncertainty, and which one is driven by a healthy desire to make good things. And that can make or break your professional and careers and businesses, right? So understand that don't don't think that there is something as a perfect product or a solution out there. That's not how it works in life, right? There is a good enough solution or a product that you have to get to the market as soon as possible. And then as interact with the market, it gets better and better and better. That interaction is critical. If you are going to keep it away from the interaction and thinking that once this is perfect, then I'm going to bring it out to the market, I'm sorry, but you are heading in a wrong direction, as basically that's fear and uncertainty taking over and you don't realize it, right? The good practice is to use time limits. Okay, there's a deadline. Okay, I'm gonna do this on the 30th of June. I have to submit it and then see whatever happens, right? Then there'll be feedback, and then I'll add more. Then there'll be feedback, and then that's how the process goes, right? You must replace all or nothing thinking. Okay, that either something needs to be nothing or something needs to be this amazing world class product or project or outcome. Critically separate your worth from performance, because that will kick in fear. Okay, that will kick in fear definitely. Because again, your brain is very, very concerned about your place in your social context. Your place in a social context is very serious about it, because it has serious consequences for survival. So if you're going to put this idea that, oh, this report would ultimately decide my place in this social context, then there will be, boof, fear will go up, because that is too much pressure for the brain. So you have to separate your self-worth from performance. You have to understand that performance is not a straight line. Performance is a very up and down process, right? Whoever has participated, that's why people encourage children to participate in some sort of competitive sports, because that's how it goes: win lose, win lose, win lose, right? And you have to detach that's a process, and this is you, and you two are not connected. Okay, ask what would I expect from someone else critically. Okay, so you are the boss. You're the boss, and you're running a business, or you are a manager, and you have to answer above. Do you have all the time in your life for 100% product? No. Or you just want a good enough thing so things can get going, right? Break tasks into draft. This is more technical um, side of things, that you break them into drafts, draft one, draft two. So every time you make changes or improvement, you feel like you're making improvements. Your brain get the message that, well, this is better than the last one, and this is better than the last one, right? But obviously you don't want to go ultimately into draft number 500. You should have like a certain limit that, okay, I'm going to go through a few drafts, but every time you go through drafts or changes, your brain gets the message that yes, you have made some improvements. Okay. Importantly, keep in mind the costs of delay. Like I said, that's very, very important. You must keep the cost in mind as to what delay is costing you, and build tolerance for feedback. That's very, very important. When I started talking first on meetup.com, because I just wanted, some platform. I wasn't aware of maven.com, that it existed. So I was a bit concerned because obviously English is not my first language. And social media is something that I'm not very proficient at. So I had a lot of insecurities, basically. But then I had to put myself out there, because I can't wait until my accent is 100% American or 100% British or 100% South African or Australian. I can't wait for that, right? It'll never happen, right? Because you develop that accent in early childhood. So I still have grammatic mistakes in my English, and always be there. But what do I do? Hide in a room? No. I'm just going to put myself out there. I don't think that people will care. And that's what I've realized, that I don't think that people care about my was and were and there and here. They don't give a damn. They just want the message. And they start giving me feedbacks. A lot positive, some negative. But I was concerned with the negative as well, because that's a message as well. There is something, a problem, that I'm trying, some people are having problems with my delivery. And I found out why, and I changed that. So understand that if you are someone that everybody likes, there's a problem with you. There is a problem with you. There must be someone who dislikes you, and there must be someone who likes you. Then you are a normal human being. That's how it goes. There is no such thing as, can everybody like me in this room? No. You enter a room, there will be people who will be jealous of you. There will be people who would literally show you contempt, or they keep a distance, and there are people who will welcome you. It's just the way life is. So don't be afraid of criticism. It's not the end of the world. Okay. That's how it is. That's how it is. Okay. Your personality is not defined by your critiques. Okay. Just keep this in mind. Right. So I am running a workshop on maven.com. My first beta workshop on the 4th of July, the Saturday. It's a 3-hour workshop, and I will take you through the stages of decision making from inception to post decision, the 7 stages of decision making. And in those 7 stages of decision making, I will equip you with all the tools that you need to deal with hot fear and cold fear, both hot fear and cold fear. Okay. So some stages will involve hot fear, some stages will involve cold fear, and I will take you through the whole exercise. So hopefully by the end of the workshop, you will have more clarity, and you will be a better decision maker, particularly under threat, particularly if you feel like something is threatening you. It could be your business under threat, your job under threat, anything under threat. That decision-making paradigm is designed for that situation. That when you are under threat, I'm not talking about someone punching you, but you get the idea, right? You are an entrepreneur who is running a business, and there's competitor, or there's AI, or there is geopolitics, oil prices, whatever it is. These are all threats that you're dealing. You're a professional and you are worried about AI, or there is downsizing in your company, or you feel like you need the capability to improve your performance, because that in itself is a threat, right? If you are not performing, that in itself a threat. So decision making will hopefully enhance that performance. So what I'm doing now is, for this particular workshop only, because this is my beta workshop, I am giving you guys, the first few, a very generous offer. I just want to get going on maven.com. So the advice I've been given is to give discount and get a few sessions rolling, so that people know you, so that people get introduced to your work. And then maybe in the future, I might raise it to a few £1 million here and there. But for now, I want to keep it low. So this is a voucher. If you click on it, this will give you 70% off of my workshop, which was already priced low because I wanted to introduce myself. But this is for you guys. So it'll be 70% off that £200. In the future, I'll be raising the price, by the way. Okay, those people who wants to leave now, they can leave. If you want to stay, you're more than welcome to stay, because I'm here for the questions and answer sessions now. So, I don't know how long it's going to take. 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, maybe half an hour, maybe an hour. I'll try my best to answer as many questions as possible. So those who wants to ask me questions, please come forward now, or who wants to share their ideas. Yeah, I will send them. No problems. Raccoon. Yeah, okay, no problems. I'll do that. Let me note it down. People, ask me questions.
Sorry, I'm not able to see where you are posting, because if I try to go on the chat, I'm not getting anything.
Really? Oh,
Yeah, so
just 1 second. So 1 second, 1 second. So you guys are not. Oh God. Okay, I'll send it over the email anyway. I'll send it over the
ah,
email, that offer. But you
oh,
are just worried that why you can't see it.
Oh, I think it
y-
went into the individual thread that I was sending you because it's a
Oh,
private message. So
so
if you
for
click
everyone.
that everyone, it should hopefully go through.
Here you go. That's me for you. That shows how much AI sorry, the IT I'm
now I
familiar.
see.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Oh God. No problems. Yeah.
thank you.
So yeah, right. If you guys are not asking me any questions, then I might as well go and watch comedy
No,
to
I have
oh
question.
yeah, you have a
A little bit about the workshop. Is that going to be interactive, or
interactive,
is it
live, interactive. Yeah. Yeah. No, I
so
mean,
live interactive with how many people approximately? Because that
I don't
also,
think I don't think that I'm keeping more than 15 people. I don't think that more than 10 people will sign up, because like I said, it's beta. I'm new to this whole thing. So, it's something that will pick up down the line, and then I might have more people interested. But now I think if I have 6 or 7 people, I'm happy, because
um,
I just want to get things rolling now at the moment. Yeah.
because I mean, of course, we saw the 7 stages in theory. How are you going to help us making, better decisions in that workshop?
Okay. So you have 7 stages of decisions, right? Decision starts
Mhm.
from the inception. Let me show you. Okay, 1 second. Let me share that with you. Okay. So The first is obviously you read the threat, right? There is something that you're perceiving as threat. Okay, so this is a stage where there might be hot fear involved or hot stress involved, right?
Mhm.
So I'm gonna teach you techniques how to deal with that. That's this particular stage. Like which there are certain techniques that you need to deploy. Okay, then you're going to identify the problem as to what is the problem, and then also there are techniques that you need to have in your repertoire to deal with that. Then you go into the next stage, and that's how the brain works, by the way, that you're going to have, you're going to evaluate possible outcomes. And here I will give you techniques about how to evaluate possible outcomes. Then you will take the decision. Once you take the decision, the next stage is anticipating the outcome, because that's the uncertainty stage, because you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen, right? Either it's going to be bad or it's going to be good. And that's very stressful, by the way, because that is extreme uncertainty here now. So this is where I will guide you about how to deal with that uncertainty until the outcome is there. Then you have the outcome, but it could be good or it could be bad. Both requires ways of dealing with, because one can take you in the direction of overconfidence and the other one can take you in the direction of overprotective, right? So we need to deal with it there, because this will have consequences for your next decision, the next decision, right? Whatever happened, remember there's memory circuitry in the brain, right? So we need to deal with it now so it does not influence negatively the next decision, which is post decision learning. That's the framework that I have developed, right? And I've been
And is
deploying it.
that
Sorry.
and is that workshop also going to be concentrated on perfectionism or not? Because I feel like, for example, I have the fear of decision making because some event whereby I had a bad outcome, and now I'm fearing too much. I feel like that's going to happen again. So any other, you know, uh, events, I think in my memory that bad uh, outcome is still affecting me, my current decision making.
It
So
always.
is that also going to be addressed, or is
Yeah,
it
yeah.
still going to be about perfectionism?
No, no, no,
Because
no, 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 no. Perfectionism was an example that I gave today. You need, you
okay.
need, you need framework, and then you need to deploy that framework to your own particular context. So now you have a way of decision making, right? And
Mhm.
whatever, it could be right or could be wrong, but you have a decision making mechanism. You've been making decisions in your life, right? And
Mhm.
you've been using these mechanisms in your social life, in your approach to your health, in your approach to your friends, in approach to your enemies, in approach to your spouse, in approach to your children. You're basically using the same framework of decision making. It could be right, it could be wrong. I am not saying that it is wrong, but what I'm trying to do here is my job is to make sure that that framework through which people make decisions is clear, debugged,
Yeah.
debugged, right? So then, but I will focus on one thing, which is your professional life, business life, right? Then you need to be intelligent enough to use the same parameters or the same technique to other areas of your life. But the debugging is very, very important. So I can only, because I'm not a psychotherapist, I'm not dealing with people who have mental health problems, right? So I'm not going to say that, or I'm not a relationship expert. So I'm not going to teach you how to make decision making in your romantic life. All I can do is teach you decision making in your business context. And then you can take that context to different areas or different professional decisions as well.
I think it would be good if it's, you know, interactive, whereby we can you can analyze how we make decisions
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
it
give
will be.
comment on that, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
today
that's
was
how.
very descriptive, right? We just listen and go through an example, which is good for an introduction, right? But if we're gonna pay, for example, I need to know also what am I getting out of
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, definitely. I mean, this was just an intro talk about a
Yeah,
concept, right? It's not a workshop. A workshop
yeah,
is where you are involved in that whole
excellent.
process. But this was just me introducing myself to you and just telling you, like, look, this is what I do. If you like it, come join me. If you don't like it, okay, I gave you something about perfectionism, and it will help you definitely.
Definitely.
In
No,
this
I found it
this
very
hour,
interesting.
if you think about it, is not going to go waste.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. I think also just for us to understand how we make decisions, what influences us, it's beneficial. So I want to thank you for that, definitely, and I will definitely think about joining the workshop because I think that, yeah, how successful we are, it's also based on how successful decisions we make every time, right? And
Decisions, yeah.
if there is certain, um, things that are making us make less good decisions, if we can take them away and make better decisions, yeah,
Okay,
it's very
definitely,
good.
yeah. I have a suggestion for you. If you're going to join the workshop, kindly send me an email about your requirements.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
just in case if I'm human, just in case if I'm like, I forget about, or I just happens to be so focused here
yes,
that,
yes.
so I can add,
And where do I find
and
your email?
okay, I'll send you my email. And this is how the process goes. Speaking of perfection, this is how the profit, the process goes. Because, okay, I am giving this workshop, but you think it's going to be the best workshop ever? I don't think so. And it will be hopefully someday a very, 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 very amazing workshop. But I have to go through this process of
Excellent,
making improvement, and you are the people who are going to tell me, oh yeah, yeah, do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. Okay, so let me send
excellent.
you my email address.